Hello, Divine Collective. Today, I want to read something that I wrote in college. I wrote it in my senior seminar class. I was a psychology major, if you can't tell. Yes, and I wrote this. It's called In Control of Not Being in Control. And I posted this on this app called Alan Poe or some, I don't know, some Poe Alan Poetry app. And literally, I got so many comments about how amazing it was, how it shifted their perspective and stuff like that. And then also, I made a video on TikTok reading the same thing. And that video has like the most views. So I feel like I need to come and share it with y'all. So hopefully, this provides a little bit of a different perspective. And what in control of not being in control means. And if you watch previous videos before, you understand like your mind is powerful, and this kind of talks about how your mind can really make you feel like you are in control or not in control. Okay. So, since birth, we have been told what to do. As babies, you have no choice what to do or where to go. We have to go to school starting at the age of 4 and don't finish till the age about 22 if you choose to go to college. So, for about 18 years of our lives, we are managed by our parents, the government, teachers, family members, and anyone with any type of power. After turning 18 and going through so many years of feeling like someone else is writing my own story, I've learned that I am the author, okay? I'm the author, I'm the writer, I'm the editor, I'm the publisher for my own life. I am in control. There was a time in my life where I felt like I had absolutely no control of what was happening. Midway through into my 8th grade year, my mom got the news that she was going to be deployed to Kuwait for 6 months in the summer. I found this to be devastating because all I ever knew was my mom, and it had just been us for just years, up until probably about the 6th grade, until she met, my stepdad. And the longest that we have ever been apart was maybe a month or so. So knowing that she was going to be gone and I couldn't hug her, and touch her and, just speak to her like in person, that just made me feel sad, angry, and like I had no control. I begged and begged her not to go, but she had no choice. After her deployment was extended for an extra month and she returned home after 7 months, 3 months later, she found out that she had stage 3 breast cancer. And that sent my mind and emotions back into a dark place, feeling like I had no control and honestly no other option but to continue on. In the past, since I didn't have control over my life and what happened to me that caused my mind and emotions to be all over the place. I was thinking that life was just picking me up, tossing me down, rolling me around, throwing me around. But then I realized that I was part of the cause of the problems. I was taking these negative experiences in my life and allowing them to absorb me mentally, physically, and eventually led to physically. Has something in your life traumatically ever happened to the point where like it makes you sick? You know, you literally feel the weight of the situation on you and you just don't know how to shake it. Every time that you allow something to get to you and stick to you, you take on the negative emotion of that problem. I realized that life stops for no one, and there's no such thing as a completely blissful and peaceful life. Situations and life experiences will always be a factor. The question isn't how to get rid of these situations and things or control, but how can I manage through this? Allowing situations to come and go and allowing the emotions not to stick to you will make life way more easier and manageable. So when I say I'm in control, I don't mean that I choose everything that happens to me. It means that I am in control of what has control over me. I am in control of not being in control. I swear. And I didn't even know what I was writing when I was writing it. And it's like when I'm reading it 3 years later, it's like, wow, like I do think that way. I do feel that way. So yes. So hopefully that kind of like shifted and changed your perspective a little bit, because I have talked about in the past, like rewiring your mind, but like adding it to like a real life scenario and kind of explaining in a different perspective, I feel like creates more of an understanding. But you are in control. You know what I mean? You are in control of you. You cannot control anything that happens in this external life. That's how things are meant to be. But the only thing that you can control is yourself, your emotions, and what you allow to stick to you. We got to be slick. We got to let just roll off, just roll off, because at the end of the day, anything that you went through in the past, you made it through and you are here today. And I know when you were going through and you're like, how am I going to make it? How is this? Like this is so much. But look at where you're at today. You made it through. So remembering when you go through those moments that, listen, this is a slingshot moment. I'm going to reach low lows to reach brand new highs. It changes your perspective on the situation and allows you to get through it better. And what I realized is that, like, you never fully get past certain things, but I feel like throughout time, I have been getting over things quicker. Like, it doesn't take me as long to like get over somebody that hurt my feelings, or somebody that I used to love or care about that broke my heart. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm getting over things a lot quicker because I'm allowing myself to literally wallow in it for a few minutes, maybe even a day, depending on how bad it is. But outside of that, like, no, because at the end of the day, your brain, that's a whole other thing, but your brain chemically memorizes those emotions that you have. So that's why it's like if somebody's mad and they're always mad, you know what I mean? They can help it, but they can't help it because their body is so used to that chemical release that they will find things to get mad at just so that their body can release it. Does that make sense? Just like when you get happy and excited, the serotonin releases in your brain. I think it's serotonin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that releases in your brain when you're happy. It's the same thing when it comes to all of your emotions. So a lot of times when you're constantly feeding those emotions or constantly rethinking things over and over, your brain is chemically releasing or is releasing those chemicals, and then your brain is going to keep finding situations to make you feel that same way. So once you realize that and then break that pattern, you become in control. Okay? You have the power. You are in control. Okay? And not every thought that comes in your mind is your own. It's so confusing. I feel like nobody sits there and tell you that. But no, everything in your mind that you think of is not your own. That little voice that you said, hey, in, you know what I mean? That is your voice. Everything else outside of it is your subconscious mind. And when you are training your mind, it retrains your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is a lot of things that you really truly think about yourself that come to the forefront. You know what I mean? But if you're retraining your mind, those subconscious thoughts begin to change, begin to alter, and then get quiet. But yes, I hope that you enjoyed my little poem or whatever. There are like 2 or 3 more that I did write that I do want to share at some point, but I'll do when I do it. But yeah, so in control of not being in control, okay? We can't control anything that happens in our life, but the only thing that you can control is you. So make sure that you are in control of yourself, your emotions. And if you want to learn how to be able to do that, check out my other videos and definitely subscribe. So see y'all later.